All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Driveway Engineer. I'm JR. I'm joined by Coconut only today, no Peanut. He's with his mama. And today we're going to paint this D100. And I'm going to show you how I'm going to paint it, and I'm going to tell you why I'm going to paint it this way right now. This is the entire paint system. Rustoleum Farm and Implement, flood penetrol, 4-inch roller, high density foam rollers for the 4-inch roller, and that's going to be it. That's the whole thing. I'll walk you through. You see I have it very haphazardly taped up right now. I'll walk you through the body work really quick. I sanded this all down with 80 grit. I wiped it, sprayed it with Windex from the dollar store, wiped it off. That's it. There are a lot of imperfections that maybe don't show on camera, but this isn't level, and that is okay with me. You are only going to get as good a job as you do here. So like this may show through to the final product, and I'm okay with that. But like this is where this paint was peeling because it was chipped and it was like lifted at the edges. So you have to get that, like your paint's not going to stick to this if this isn't sticking to this. So you can level that if you want to. You can feather that Bondo as much as you want to. You can get that as smooth as you want to, and that's going to affect your final outcome. For what is very much still going to be a farm truck, a going to town truck, its bed rails all knocked down. I really just wanted to show you guys what you can do. Like if you don't have an air compressor, mine was $450 like 8 years ago. It's a 60-gallon 5-horse. They sell it under like 6 names. It's about as big as a home guy's gonna have. I know some of you out there have rotary twin screws or whatever, but for the most part, realistically, the single stage 60-gallon is the top tier of what most DIY guys are gonna have. But it's a big burden. They're like $900 now, and it's a big barrier to entry, especially if you're going to paint like one car or you live in an apartment or whatever. This truck has been painted multiple times over its life. It's an Alabama farm truck. It shows in some of the silliness that there was like a handle on the top of the cab. They drilled holes wherever they wanted to in the side of it. It's not rusty, except for what was on the roof, which is now fixed, as you saw in the last video. But like cab corners, rockers, floors, all that stuff, good, but just a hard work truck, which shows most in the bed, where stuff is slammed forward, beat up the inner fenders, whatever. So a big advantage to rolling paint is that you don't need a compressor, you don't create a bunch of mess, you don't waste, it's really low cost too. Like the other thing I thought, because I have a compressor, I'm like, well, I can just spray it. I can show people how to spray Rustoleum. What if they don't have a compressor? And also, if I'm going to do all the work to make it look nice, why wouldn't I just go ahead? Sorry. If I'm going to do all the work to make it look nice and put all the money into it, why wouldn't I just go ahead and like spray nicer paint, right? And it turned into a big snowball for a truck that's going to drive like 300 miles a year. So I'm not going to lie to you guys and tell you that this is like a $50 paint job. It's not. It's probably about a $300 paint job, and I'll run through my costs real quick. This stuff's $16 a quart. I have 2 quarts, so $32. This is $15 a quart, so $47. Paint trays, couple bucks. Paint sticks are free, roller. Sandpaper was another $20. Dollar store, LA Awesome. Window cleaner. I would say at the outside I have $300 in Bondo, hardener, sandpaper, tape into this. And another big benefit is that it goes on really thick, so it will level itself out in a lot of this stuff that I'm showing you. Like here where it's horizontal, maybe not so much, but up here, it'll level pretty quick. So let me get to the point. I'm going to open up this can and then I'll show you how I mix it. So we'll be right back. So I'm gonna stirred, not shaken. Sorry, Bond. I'm gonna stir this the best I can. It actually seems like it's pretty well mixed up, so you can tell when the solids are on the bottom of the can. This seems pretty okay. The main thing is not to do too much science here, because it's not science, it's feel. People are like, I use premium fuel because my car feels faster, and then I come along like, that's not science, that's feelings. This is actually feelings. So see how the paint's running off there? And you'll see this in other videos. What you want to get to is where it runs off, where it turns from a stream into drips in about 4 seconds. So we'll give her a little glug of penetrol. If you use too much of this, penetrol is not, according to them, thinning it, it's conditioning it. And you may be skeptical like I am and say, what does that mean? And they say, well, it loosens the paint, blah, 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 which sounds like it thins it. But if you use too much penetrol, it'll take forever to dry. And it's already going to take like 6 hours between coats. So that's a really long time to turn to drips. I'm looking for like 4 or 5 seconds to drips. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. We'll do another little glug. I feel like that's a lot. It's been a long time since I brushed on or rolled on Rustoleum. Try to find a picture of my old Jeep, which I did orange. That was definitely the definition of a 20-footer, and I'm going for more like a 5-footer here. But realistically, the closest most people are going to get to my project or your project, like if you're not going to car shows, they're going to drive by out there and be like, wow, look at that truck, how cool. It's still not dripped, so I'm going to roll it on anyway. Let me get it in the pan and bring you guys right back here. Alright, I had a minor fail. I had the wrong kind of roller for my pads, and that left. I had to run to the hardware store. So I had runs or spots or whatever. You see that this is very, very orange peely, and that's okay. I promise it'll come out. But all you do is get some on your roller and squish it out and rub it in. It's no different than painting a wall. This high density foam roller that I'm using is meant for cabinets. That's what it'll say on it if you're looking for it in the hardware store. And we're just gonna go around the truck and rub paint on it. So, and then we're gonna come back in like 5 hours and it's gonna be leveled out. And these bubbles will be gone, I promise. So I'll bring you guys back when I'm done and it's still wet, and we'll go from there. All right, we are 1 coat in, and it's patchy. And like I said, you'll be able to see where I did not block this out and smooth it out. That'll almost certainly stay all the way through the final coat, and that is okay with me. Because this would be the same on any paint job that you wanted to do. Once it builds up with 3 more coats, it'll show less, but it'll still show. Here on the hood, like I said before, the runs, they show. I might sand them out. You can always wet sand this, and which is what most people do. I'm just not going to. Because it's a miserable job. But from, again, we'll step back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 steps. It's a good looking truck. And it's all one color, which is probably what you're going for. But again, if you don't want like this stuff to show, just do better body work. That's not the fault of the paint, that's the fault of the body work. So I'm gonna get one more coat of paint on it today, and another one tomorrow, and I will bring you guys back when it's done. So hang out. All right, next day, sunshine. We'll talk about that in a moment. You see, this is got dusty overnight, but pretty good, right? Pretty okay. There's some roller marks that you would have to. I still got my runs in there, but overall, to step back again, from here, we have a good looking truck. I was going to do one more coat and call it good, but you see the orange peel is kind of gnarly. You need to wait about a month to sand this, at least. Maybe 6 weeks if you wanted to color sand it. Down here where there was a lot of holes, I think I showed them. I welded some of them shut, and I used the grinder, and it's artful, and I just can't live with it. I know I said I didn't care. My wife doesn't care. She can't even see them. But I came up here last night, and hitting it with this primer was my last ditch to try to fill them in with paint a little better. This side's a little better, but it's still more than I really want to do. More than I can live with. So I'm going to show you guys real quick how to do the wrong thing the right way, because we have standards here at the Driveway Engineer. There's a lot of orange peel here. That's okay. Like I said, I'm not going to do anything about the orange peel, but the grinder marks got to go. So I'm going to use, let me put you on pause for a moment. All right, let me pick you back up. So the right thing to have done here would have been to have sanded this better in the first place, and then came along with body filler, not really Bondo, but like a lightweight filler, and sanded it flat, and then hit it with a high build primer, which is sometimes called a 2K primer. And it would have filled these scratches in different low spots, and you could block it and make it all equal, right? Like if you take this down to the level of this, it's all equal. This truck is not worth that much effort to me, but I need it. I just want it better than this. So they make also this door edge here where it kept getting into the fender was pretty bad, so I'm going to fix that as well. They make what they call glazing putty or spot putty for this, but it's expensive. It's for a tube this size, it's like $6, and I need like 10 tubes. So what I'm actually going to do is thin this normal filler out, and you can do that with resin. That's what you would add to fiberglass. You add your fiberglass, you add your resin, you add your hardener, and then you have fiberglass filler. That resin will thin this Bondo, and I'm going to thin it down to a pretty light consistency so that I can scrape it. I'm going to put a lot of pressure on my squeegee so that it goes into the cracks and wipes off the high spots, hopefully. And I'm going to do a swipe on each side and call that good. If this was lower, like the way that it's angled, you can see it right when you walk up to the truck. There's stuff like that down there, and I don't care because you can't see it right away, but that's really noticeable. So I'll show you guys what it looks like once it's mixed up here in a moment. I already put some. I wanted to show you guys how it looks, because there's a product that Evercoat sells called plastic honey or something like that, and I'm pretty sure it's this. So I learned, I never did body work professionally, but I did paint some cars and stuff. I worked with an old gentleman in the neighborhood. I worked at his junkyard in the summer times, and this is what we did when we needed spot putty. I can't do this one-handed, but I just learned that the plastic honey is a thing that exists, and I'm pretty sure it's this. So Anyway, it thins it right out because, like I said, I don't really need to build anything up. I actually need to lay it down. So I'll be right back. All right, so that's it. And you can see where it's filled the lows, mostly, at least, hopefully. I'm not going to do multiple coats. At this point, it's whatever it is what it's going to be. I'm a little skeptical here, but we'll see. And we give that about 20 minutes, 30 minutes. And we'll hit it with a 60 grit and a 180, and I'm going to wrap this up. I'm going to wrap this video up, and I'm going to wrap this paint job up. So I'll bring you guys back when that's done. Alright, so I went through, you can see where it filled in some of the stuff. I just hit it with 60 grit. I'm going to hit it with 180 real quick to take some of this more stuff out. I don't want to give I should have done this in the first place. I don't want to give the impression that like it's some kind of magic paint that's gonna, some of this is still gonna show. I can feel. When I put the Bondo right here, it had already kicked. I shouldn't have done it, but I did anyway, and now here we are. So whatever, it is what it is. But see, I've got it. You can see where it filled in the low spots. That's my favorite thing about Bondo, is how 90% of it winds up on the ground or in Jose's yard. So the other thing is that I'm gonna have to, there's like absolutely no shims in this front clip. There's nothing in this front clip. So before I put the last 2 coats of paint on, I'm gonna have to pick this up and shim it to set this door gap, because I can't even get in there to sand this Bondo. It's all wrong. So should have done that ahead of time too, but it's all good. We'll be back. So that's it. That's the whole thing right there. I went through, brushed on paint onto the Dodge letters. We threw a decal on the quarter panel, like a Rumblebee style. My wife was a CB, a naval CB. This is okay. It's not great. It's okay. The truck looks pretty good. It looks pretty okay. And some of that will level out. And after about a month, like I said, you can sand it down. You can wet sand it, and it would look fine. Roof repair is good. I'm going to put a windshield in this. I'm going to have the local glass place put a windshield in this, and that's a wrap on the paint and body on this. We might pinstripe that. I don't really know. Haven't decided. We'll see. I don't think it'll go great with the rumble stripe, but that's it. Like, you can make your shit look pretty okay with a roller. I used 2 quarts of paint. I think there were 12 of these. I don't know. I have 5 left. Pack of 10. So I have 5 left. I used 5 rollers. Not a big deal. Like I said, maybe a $300 paint job at the most, at the outside. So I'm happy with it. Mrs. Engineer's happy with it. And that's pretty much gonna be it for this truck, for the paint and body. I said I will fix the door and put weather stripping in it and stuff like that, but she's ready to work. Oh, we'll bed liner the inside of the bed as well, but she's ready to work. So we're gonna get back to the drivetrain and getting the motor wired up and ready to run. So, well, it already runs, but you know, ready to drive. The major things that I need right now are a drive shaft. I have no brakes because I have to put the Cummins Master on with the Cummins booster, which means I'm gonna have to bleed everything, which sucks because, you know, hopefully they don't break off or something. Drive shaft, brakes. Oh, tires. These tires are garbage. This one's literally about to explode just sitting here. Look at it. It's really sad. So 235 75 15s is what it has, which I'm fine with. But they're like the same price as 31s, and they're both more or less the same price new as used. Like, You can get 235s for like $80 a piece at Walmart. So when people are asking $250 a set, it doesn't make a lot of sense. I will say one thing before I go. My truck has marker lights in the back, and most of the other ones seem to not have marker lights in the back, which is weird. So if you know anything about that, let me know, because I would have totally filled that in had I known that it would be difficult to find them. But yeah, we're good to go here. Mosquitoes are eating me alive. I hope you enjoyed following along. I opened the door and smashed that, and that's okay. You know why it's okay? Because once I fix that and I straighten that out and I put shims under it and I set the gap, I can just roll more black paint on here for like $8. That's the best part. My wife drops a pumpkin on it and ruins it. I'll just roll more paint on it and it'll be fine. But anyway, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.